What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. Got a new model from Civivi. Well, it was a Wii turned Civivi. Let's take a look at it. All right, guys, we have the Civivi Synergy, and if you're familiar with this, you know this model started out as the Wii Synergy, and there was a demand for it, so they decided to try to pump out a Civivi version. So something very different here from Civivi, and I'm really happy to see that. So you do get the standard 14C 28N blade steel. If I can find where they print it, they print so small and so light, it is hard to find it sometimes. Where on earth did they put it on here? You know, I am not immediately. Oh, there it is. Oh, Nitro V. Okay. So hopefully you're able to see that. Took a minute, man. I love that they print that lightly, which is odd because you do have the designer O Young's logo and everything on here, but nothing on this side. Also love this dark pivot on here. I think that looks really good. And I'm really digging the radial pattern on the G10. It looks good and it functions well, but not so aggressive that it affects the pocket clip. And look at this pocket clip. Civivi's got this thing super deep carry, not reversible. Not reversible with the nested liner lock. I think that would have gone over very well with for the lefties out there if it would have been. But man, really good job on that deep carry. I wish they would widen out a little bit there. And I wanted to point out another model here. So CJRB, you can see how it's a little bit wider. They don't sharpen towards the edge there on theirs, and I think that's part of the reason why they don't bother me as much. And then you can see here on a Kaiser, they do ramp it down or aim it back down, so you really don't encounter that a lot. We'll bring those back out here in a minute for some size comparisons. I did take this down to the garage, and man, the ergos on this, super comfortable, exact fit on the hand. There was no real hot spots on the knife itself. I did feel the pocket clip a little bit. Again, pretty common with this Civivi folder for clips, not a real issue. I think for me, I do like that this cut well, good geometry, good edge from the factory, all of the good stuff there that you want to see. I'm not big on the Tontos for my personal EDC. They don't really serve me as well as a traditional drop point or a spear point. I also just prefer the look of a drop point or a spear point. Very good detent on here. This is extremely well tuned. Going to be a flipper only for those out there that like multiple means of deployment. That'd probably be a second strike on this one, especially for the lefties out there, which is a shame because obviously you can operate this very easily left-handed. And I think that would have gone over well. I get it, trying to keep it clean, trying to make it look a little bit more upscale. And that is one thing you'll find from Civivi is you get really good fit and finish, and good materials and execution on their knives are very, very well done for the price point. Not a guillotine. It is a shaker going home. You got good lockup at about 30% here. And just, it was a joy to use to cut with it. I think I personally would have gone for the drop point. Not that I would have enjoyed it more than the Tonto version here, but I would have gone for that drop point just because I think that looks really killer. You got some nice lines on here, right? Not just a traditional standard line on here, and it's probably because it's not an in-house designer, but looks really good. And the radio, I'm really digging that a lot. They also came out recently with some, I want to say G Carta, I think is what they call it. No, Shred G10. I don't know if they're calling it G Carta. I think it's just Shred D10, where it's kind of shred put back together, and you can kind of see like the white scraps in line with that. So this and those I really am liking a ton. Let's go ahead and do some size comparison, guys. We'll weigh the knife after that, and then we'll wrap up. All right, so we got the CJRB Pyrite Light, and we got the Kaiser Nice Guy on here. A couple of budget knives to give you an idea where the size for this one's going to land. It's going to be full size, and again, excellent ergos, fit me perfectly. I really enjoyed it, but I think all the way down to like a medium size hand, you're really going to like this a ton. So, but here's some comparisons. Let's do a couple more. All right, guys, I did want to bring something full size out here. So I have the Manix 2 Lightweight and you can see very comparable to the Synergy. Got a little bit more blade length, but very similar on the handles. And then the CJRB Echo, a little bit more of a medium-sized EDC, but you can see it's pretty comparable to these. You could probably even say it's in between for overall length. Going to work really good as a more full-sized EDC. Let's grab the scale and check the weight on this one. All right, scale is out and on. Let's see. I'm thinking this is going to be closer to 4. It feels a little bit more weighty because of the size. So 3.6, deceptive. I was thinking like 3.8, 3.9. Not that it's that far off from that, but I didn't realize it was going to be this close to 3.6. It feels like it's got some weight on it, but clearly pretty standard for stuff that you're seeing from Civivi as far as the weight goes. Let's go ahead, get the scale out of the way, and wrap this one up. All right, let's wrap up with final thoughts and impressions. So I grade the knives on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 the worst, 10's the best. I do this so that you can see from video to video if you're looking at a couple of different models or you're trying to gauge where I'm at with one versus another one that you may have seen on the channel. I think that really helps. Fit, finish, materials, price, execution, all of that goes into account. 7 is the highest that you can go for a budget knife. That's just because the materials limit that from hitting the upper echelon of the scoring matrix. This one here I really liked. Now, I will say the Tonto version brings it a little bit down for me, but knowing that the drop point version's out there, I'm probably going to hit you on 2 different scores for this one for me. Pocket clips, you know, personally, the Civivi pocket clip, excuse me, I just totally got tongue twisted there. The Civivi pocket clip, for whatever reason, just does not agree with me. I don't know if that's me personally or if anyone else out there encounters that, but it does take away from the score a little bit for me. Lock bar access, really good. And, you know, Civivi does a great job, and I really liked this design overall. Now, for this exact model that I have here in the hand, I'm going to go 5.8, which is a solid score for a budget knife. A lot to like. Bearings in the pivot, lock bar access, etc. Really well done. They missed the lefty and again the pocket clip. I looked at the drop point version of this one, and at the price point, it's a little high for a Civivi. Now, they're running sales this time of year, so you can get them a little bit cheaper, and this one being that it's been out and around a little bit longer usually is included in those discounts that they give around this time of year. But to me, the drop point version of this one brings the score up a little bit. I think it looks a little bit cooler. You still got the swoop and you got the drop point, but you got a belly on it, which is what I look for out of my personal EDC. I would go up to 6.1 on the drop point, which is a really good score if you take into account that I maxed them out at 7. That's really solid, guys. So when you hear those numbers, take into account and keep in the back of your mind that that's where they end out at. So I really like this one from Civivi, and you really can't ever go wrong with a model from them. They deliver and execute very well. Let me know what you think about the Synergy. Do any of you all have this one? I know I'm a little late to getting to this review of this one, but it's a very solid option. I don't think anyone would be disappointed, irregardless of what blade shape you prefer. All right, I'm out of here. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. I'll catch you next time, guys. Peace.